Hello beauties, we are back here for another YouTube reading already, as the urge is still present, still feeling called here. So I hope you guys are doing well as possible. Let's go ahead and look into the energies, high vibrational truth, accuracy, clarity, healing, and anything else that your spirit guides and angels see fit at this time, tuning into the authentic FOTH collective here. Highest good of all and all involved. All right, and this is the Vintage Tarot by Dark Forest. We've got a link below. Ooh, one guy already falling out. Oh man. All right, we've got some emotional protection coming through already right away. What's going on for you guys for watching this video? Whenever you're seeing this, what does Spirit want to talk to you about? This is interesting. The reading we had on our TikTok earlier today is very reminiscent of this, or very similar to these messages. Okay, so the feeling is being emotionally closed, guarded, and protecting ourselves. And there's a very good reason for doing this, for wanting to do this. The feeling is not taking risks, unnecessary or extra risks, especially with the emotional world. It's not forcing movement right now. It's also kind of trusting that things are going to work out, even when you don't know how or don't see the way. Okay? It does feel like any unresolved kind of mother wounds could be being touched on a little bit here again, especially if they seem to interfere with or slow down your progress in one way or another in life. This could especially be connected to your physical, your monies, okay? Your physical world, your physical being, your body, weight, things like this. For others of you, this has a lot to do with your receptivity. How you feel powerful in receptivity and creative energies with the Empress there, okay? Some of you could also be waiting, and this might not be for but maybe one person, but you could be waiting to see the results of some kind of pregnancy. Are you going to be? Are you not going to be? Okay. I'm hearing, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lions sleep tonight. I bet it came out in our last reading. Okay, so this is very similar energy to our TikTok reading today. What it is again, the situations that you are feeling that you have to be so guarded and uptight in, and you have to always be closed up emotionally and looking out for yourself emotionally. You are being blessing in disguise, gifted this energy of being able to really empower and move on from having to deal with those kinds of energies at all. Also with having to depend, I'm getting not having to depend as much on others, okay? This is a more independent energy where you have what you need emotionally and physically, and you don't have to take the good with the bad from other people so often or as much. There's multiple routes, multiple possibilities, options, and paths for how you accomplish this, how you achieve this. Okay? This is not a time, again, for risks with your emotional well-being or even your energy, like the amount of energy you have to give to things. And this is in line with the reading that we did the other day here. But there's a little bit more progression, especially now that we've entered into Virgo season fully. Yes, this is all about liberation again, especially emotional liberation. You've still felt at times bound to those toxic situations or people, indebted, like you owe, a guilt complex, or even with work situations, like you have to do something a certain way. You still kind of, gone back into that at times or still had felt that. Please only take what resonates, of course, but that's what it looks like here. And in order to fully kind of break free of something, sometimes we do have to keep revisiting it again and again and again. Even if we've fully broken free, it might cycle back around some years later. It's possible. And it kind of just brushes those edges up to make sure that we remember why we broke out in the first place. This is definitely breaking out of perceived helplessness, the bondage of perceived helplessness, of this is the only way, I have no say, there is no other route. It's definitely moving on from that. And the way through is emotional empowerment. Knowing emotionally how to do what's right for you, how to take care of yourself, how to know that you know, how to say no, and how to say yes as well to what you want, what you need even. Understanding that a lot of your emotional wants are emotional needs. You question or doubt perhaps the power of receptivity, especially if you've been working on healing your receptive feminine energy. You could question or doubt the power of it because of the length of time it's taken for certain things to come in. When they move very slow, you could think, oh, it's not working, it's not happening. But again, when you give that power, measuring your progress by the physical outcome, you are depending on something once more. You are giving it your dependence. You are giving it your power. As people, of course, we have to depend in a sense because we eat to survive. We take to survive in a lot of ways. So that's how we operate. So this is not about, extremes. But at a certain level, there's sort of a bondage in the way that you've had dependence that I feel a hunger to be free of. And that hunger to be free of that is being answered. It has been answered. But the process of answering it is a total rewire. It's a total change with the way that you operate emotionally and mentally. And while you've already been working on this for a while, this isn't new. It's not the first time. It does feel like the intensity is turned up. You move from a 4 to an 8. Okay, so you're doubling the intensity here. You're doubling down on something. What else does Spirit want to tell you? Please. I do feel as well with this 3 of Pentacles here, it's like you have more options than what meets the eye because of your own investments, your own previous investments. All right? You could be shaken off your feeling of like total emotional clarity and maturity right now. I feel like within, that we're talking about emotional boundaries, taking care of you, protecting yourself, looking out for what's right for you. But at the same time as that, you could feel blurry and confused within that space because you're not in this super mature and stable energy where you feel totally lucid and clear and emotionally empowered. In fact, you feel unsafe emotionally. It's quite possible, okay? Or you've been feeling targeted, unstable, uncertain in the emotional world, closed up, overwhelmed, something like this. So you're having to give these boundaries and navigate this and look out for yourself within a blurry time emotionally. It's not like it's all clear, lucid, and easy. Part of who you could be protecting yourself from right now, or what you could be protecting yourself from right now. For some of you, this is like family and groups of people. For others, it's like career and work. But no matter what area of your life it's really, showing up in, it's just everything in general. But those triggering environments that really overlook you and really misunderstand you, and where you really have no motivation or inspiration to move towards anything. It's those kinds of environments, people, situations that are really overlooking you that you're having to kind of safeguard against. That you really have zero motivation for, that you're having to safeguard against. Because in the past, or even now, it's like a stress response. Like beating yourself up. Taking it all on. Taking all of that responsibility on. I'm failing, I'm not doing enough. Spiraling into stress. This is on me. I have to do this. I have to perform a certain way, or I have to prove myself, or whatever it is. Like, it's like going back and resorting to, or reverting to putting it on you. But this is asking you not to do that and to stand in your basically best emotional wellness that you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to stress about not doing this perfectly, but it's like really taking seriously how you are feeling emotionally. There's stress about money here for a long time. And if it's not money, it's security. For some of you, this could have been a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus that you dealt with in your past, or it can even be a parent that has a Earth moon. But this is very much a stressful relationship, a very at war friction relationship with receiving and going out and getting. The masculine, feminine. And this is part of the bondage that you're breaking out of as well. A lot of this is very much connected to your past, yes. Your family, yes. The school you grew up in, the schools you were in, the people around you, those old connections, old parts of yourself, yes. Even past life things, ties, soul knowledge that has been carried through, paradigms that have been carried out over multiple lifetimes. The familiarity that you have with human existence through those lifetimes. The attachments that you hold, certain mindsets and paradigms that don't serve you, and having to go over them again and again and again until you finally get it. Having to be kicked in the ass again and again until you finally say enough is enough. Having to be shown how dark and intense and scary and blinding it can become. Dark is in blinding, okay? Dark is in I can't see, you know? I'm isolated, I don't know, I'm cut off. That kind of an energy. When we talk about dark, that's what it means. But it's like having to go so deep into that you finally break. A lot of you are very strong, very stubborn, and you need breaking points. You need to be shown why it matters to learn what self-preservation actually is, or prioritizing your emotional needs actually is. That's where a lot of the collective I speak to, that we speak to, that's where you guys are at. Not everybody, you know, operates this way. A lot of the people who taught you to operate that way actually operate the opposite, ironically. But then as well, you have some people who kind of taught you or showed you to be this way, who also operate that way. It's like they passed it on to you. Some of you are writers, or it's very healthy for you to journal, to write. I'm seeing a lot of Virgo energy in your past. It's funny that we just entered into Virgo season and now there's all this Virgo energy in the past. Someone could be an only child here, or you spent a lot of time alone but also enjoyed it. Equal parts alone and equal parts like in the spotlight somehow, are being seen or recognized. I feel like there's a lot you are absorbing from your past. Really about how you were made, who you are and how you were made. Spirit, how can I word that better? That you have a lot to uncover yet, and secrets remain in your past for you to see and unfold. And eclipse season will also help with this. Why is the Queen of Swords here? Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. You know what's so confusing is, in your life, I'm hearing in my life, there are places I remember. You know, it's like in your life, nobody, no thing was one thing. That could be said for anyone, but we're focusing on, you know, how you have felt it, and that's very confusing. Somebody's equally empathetic and narcissistic, you know? Somebody's equally there to help you and equally there to hurt you. Something is equally working and not, and it's very confusing. And some of you get fed up and you have to write your own system. You have to make your own system. You move on from it altogether. You cut it out. You run away. You go forwards. You turn off the emotions and you say F this, and you just move forwards. You stop looking at this. You block people. You cut people off. You stop getting news. You stop leaving ties open. You try not to receive. For some of you, it's about closing completely the ties, but at the same time, not feeling like you always have to run and sabotage yourself in order to escape this stuff. There is this massive healing that wants to come through in a relationship moving forwards, okay? And this is going to help you heal all areas of your life. Who I'm speaking to, you're definitely strong with communication. Communication is a big, strong spot for you. Writing, journaling, speaking, something, singing, using your voice or your written word, your perspective, okay? You have a gift in this area. And I feel that the relationship that's very healing to you, this person is also a healer, whether they realize it or not. Funny enough, you have this gift with your words, but they've been suppressed. The truth has been suppressed. Your truth, your words, your voice. And you found ways to do it. You found ways to take it on anyways, but never, it has not ever been full from this point forwards. In this past point where it was repressed and suppressed. You did block some people or cut some people off. Could have been a mother, could have been old family members, old situation. Sometimes I feel like when we read for you guys, Spirit only wants to talk about the past, and it's so like heavy and intense to always go back to the past. I'd love to focus more on the future with you guys, but for some reason, it's the past, the far past, again and again and again and again, which says there are these old stuck energies still that want to cycle through and come up. So it's not always a bad sign. Like, you could think once you had a clear vision or idea of what you wanted, a dream, who you were, and then it went away. And you could feel like that going awayness or that not having a clear purpose, vision, path anymore, whatever, sense of self, you could feel like that's somehow a failure or a bad sign, but it's not. The opposite of that is that actually you were a bit restricted and in fear before, so you didn't even see the options that were available to you. You actually chose out of a fear energy at some points. That's what we talk about a lot. To break it down, it's like some of your dreams were actually built out of restriction and fear. It doesn't mean they're purposeless. Of course they have purpose. But when you start to realize that and unmask, it's not a bad thing that you wouldn't know who you are and where you want to go. That you would have to learn from a different place, a different position. There is a big focus on boundaries today in general as well. Just in general, the importance of having boundaries. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. Not acting like you're all fine, but actually doing what you need to do. I feel like when you stay the most stuck or when you have to go the most backwards is when you're letting your emotional needs again be put to the side for everybody else. When you're again making excuses to open doors for people or to leave doors open a crack. When you're again not prioritizing the importance of really letting go of those, not engaging with those old energies that you already know are a risk, a gamble, that violate, that don't understand. And this isn't about running away. It's not about avoiding or shutting down. It is something else. It's much more focused on you really listening to you and doing what's right for you, which is a big task sometimes because you have to let go of fear of judgment, or you have to just say fuck it and have it anyways. Like, you have to just go through being judged, being criticized, being maybe the villain, or looking like, you know, that lazy piece of crap that everybody complains about, or whatever it is. But it's like you have to sacrifice how people perceive you and caring for what's right for you. And then when you do that, you really, again, and it's not that you haven't already done this, but it's like when you do this more, because you're learning to do this more and more and more, you realize that those people in the first place, maybe their opinions actually never really had that much weight anyways. And it's really a journey to freedom. This is really a journey to experiencing the sensation of true freedom in this human life, as much as you can feel it in this human life. Anything else here? Please and thank you. That might be the end of our messages. This is hidden in the deck, which makes it feel like this is like you have more than you realize, more going for you than you realize right now, more working for you, more resources than you realize right now, than it might feel. And sometimes it's your comfort zone. It's staying where you are. It's keeping yourself in a certain energy of just holding. That makes this sadness so emphasized, that makes this loss, this depression so emphasized. Some of your depression is the comfort zone. It's not your fault, but it is here. One more thing to say about that. Whoa. Divine timing. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. It's like, I wanted to say it's not your fault, because it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, you're doing this and that's why you're sad. It's not so much this. It's more of these realizations that will come to you more and more and more, or again and again and again, about what actually, it's like, sometimes it's okay, let me use an example. You've worked a day job your whole life. You finally start your own business and it's the most liberating, freeing thing. But then you get into a grind with your own business and it starts to feel stressful and heavy and hard. And then you feel like nothing's working and you start to get in this kind of depleted comfort zone where things aren't really that comfortable. It's just like, you're used to it, but it starts to get harder. And then you start working a day job again and you remember the hell of the day job. And you recognize how amazing it actually has been working for yourself. But it's like you needed that reminder from the day job in a way. And I feel like this is the same with family, or with those kinds of atmospheres that maybe you were away from for a time, or jobs or relationships, or certain people or groups or places. Like, it's that same energy of like being reminded of why you left in the first place, or why you prioritized this in the first place, or why you were healing in the first place. And sometimes it's only, the reminder can only come through the pain or the stress that's put on us, because we aren't often volunteering ourselves to go through that when we feel in a comfort zone. We're not going to be like, you know what, I'm in a comfort zone, I'm chilling, I feel good, or okay, cool, whatever. But you know what, I think I'm going to just choose to make myself feel pain. Like, that's not always the easiest thing, to do again and again and again. So sometimes we have to be pushed to do it. And that's the whole feeling here, is like being pushed into feeling something again and remembering why in the first place it was so important. And going through that process is exactly what helps liberate you, and what helps you heal in a relationship as well. If you are dealing with a relationship, or you will be in the near future, soon will be next few months, 6 months, it's going to really help you heal within that connection. Okay. There is divine timing and protection here, of course, as always. All right. The angels are around you. And sometimes this also reignites that connection that you have to the angels and to spirit, especially when it feels like it's not as present anymore. All right, I feel like we should grab maybe an angel message and then we'll close up. Remember, you guys can always email frequencyoftheheart@gmail.com for personal reading inquiries. Just do a little sagey sage here. Oh, you could be making a move. We're working on it. All right, so let's grab you guys an angel message. This kind of feels like a repeat a little bit of our last video, and then just the collective energies in general. So I'm not really sure why we were still called to do more YouTube, but maybe there is a reason. Maybe there's something different in this one, or the way it was said, or the timing. I don't know. Angels, what message do you have for them? Please and thank you. You are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. Interesting. This feels similar to the message of taking all the weight on your own shoulders, stressing, and not realizing that there's other pieces of the puzzle or factors as well that need to come in to play or into the picture. And then Serena, and this could have felt like it's been blocked or slowed down or delayed for a while, or you could not totally trust this. But this is the angel of abundance, and she says that you will receive the money that you need, and God is in charge of how that will happen. Have faith. Source, universe, whatever you call that. Okay, so this is again learning to really trust and allow things to work as they need to, and take the time they need to take, and believe in that process, but also not to get down on yourself when you don't. Okay, but not working against yourself, because the whole idea here is really about listening to yourself, not measuring the results outside, but the results inside, and prioritizing what feels right for you and your own needs, essentially. Believing and trusting enough in yourself. And the more you look out for you, the more that belief and trust is reignited, it's reestablished, and it's strengthened. So I really hope this makes sense for somebody. Much love, always your way, and of course remember to rest if and when you need it.